This episode of the Breakthrough Success Podcast is brought to you by Jobber. Jobber is your business's command center. The easy-to-use app powers your sales, operations, and customer service all in one place. Go check them out at getjobber.com/breakthrough to receive 20% off your first 6 months. What is up, Breakthrough Success listeners? Marc here, helping people to get more clients, speaking gigs, and followers through podcasting, YouTube, and self-publishing. And here in this episode, we have a dynamic duo who grew a company, OMG Online Marketing Gurus, into a $15 million global business. We're going to talk about how they did that, some good practices, business strategies, all of that coming up in this episode. So our dynamic duo, Andrew is part of this duo. He is the CEO and co-founder of Online Marketing Gurus. He has had a long, illustrious career in the SEO and SEM industry. Dynamic duo member number 2 is Mez, who is the co-founder and head of partnerships at OMG, which stands for Online Marketing Gurus. He's a marketing mastermind with a wealth of expertise, having overseen over 250 search campaigns and consulted over 600 businesses globally. So our guests are none other than Andrew and Mez. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. We're very honored to be on the show, Marc. Thank you.
I'm happy to have both of you on Breakthrough Success, and we don't always do dynamic duo episodes. We've done a few of them, but I know this one's going to be absolutely awesome because we've got two people who grew a company to $15 million, and I'm wondering if you guys share about how you two got together and built up a partnership, because that is something that some people struggle with or don't even know how to approach.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to confirm, it's a 20 million, not billion, maybe one day 20 billion company. But
I thought I said 15. My bad, whatever.
all good. So mate, Andrew and I have been friends for about 10 years. We knew each other actually from university. So we attended Macquarie University in Sydney, and we were both studying marketing and had a passion for online business. So Andrew had a business in artificial flowers. I had a business selling car parts on eBay to sort of get through uni, and we ended up finishing our degrees and going our own separate ways and getting jobs in the sort of corporate life. And after a few years, we realized we were working in the same suburb, North Sydney, and we were sort of both getting over our the corporate ladder and the jobs we were in and getting a bit disenfranchised. And we went and had a lunch at a Chinese restaurant and decided that we would start our own business together and consult in the online marketing space. And we started out in Andrew's business, Andrew's parents' Rather's house, and we literally in Willoughby in Sydney would literally just go door knocking just to generate business when we started.
And from that beginning. You have anything to add or no?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, because we didn't really have any capital to invest into the business, I think we started with $500 each amongst us. It was very important for us to look at cold ways of approaching clients. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand now, is that they look for venture capital or they look for money, to be brought into the business for them to grow. We didn't have that option. It was literally cold calling, door knocking, and just calling everyone we knew to see if they wanted help with digital marketing. So it's been a long time now, or feels like a long time. But it just grows year on year, which has been fantastic.
And with the growth you guys have had, I mean, it's really incredible. But you don't always start that way. You mentioned cold calling, prospecting as ways to just put your name out there, reach out to potential clients. What would you say are some of the things that really move the ball forward the most? Because obviously there's so many different ways to prospect and get clients, but what were some of the things that really worked the most for you?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that because I'm kind of mainly on the sales side of the business. But I mean, for us, setting up good strategic partnerships was a really, really important growth factor for the business, because obviously we, as Andrew said, we only had like $1,000 working capital, which we started with, and that lasted us like 6 months. And really it all came down to really building a very robust product initially, and then focusing on key strategic partnerships and really over servicing our customers, which we still do to this day.
And I do like that focus, on serving the customers. I feel like there are a lot of people that are so focused on growth and acquisition that they do forget to service their existing customers. So how do you balance the growth side with nurturing relationships and serving your existing customers?
Yeah, sure. Look, I think it's... sorry, Mez, do you want to go on?
I was going to say Andrew's probably best to answer that one, actually.
Sure. I could probably talk a little bit about that. I mean, the problem is in Australia, there's a shortage of talented people, and especially like working in the digital marketing space. It's sort of a new industry. It hasn't been around for 100 plus years. It's only been around for sort of 10, 20 years. So our goal was always to bring on literally as many people as we can, train them up as quickly as possible before we actually needed them. So something we've sort of pride ourselves on from the beginning is getting people on as quickly as possible, getting them involved in the business, get them to understand, if they don't have any digital experience, get them to understand digital and learn digital from the professionals in the business, and sort of, growing that way organically rather than only looking for talented people with experience. They're very, as I said, very limited in the country. So we've got a rigorous training program when we bring people in before we actually need them to service clients. And that can take, up to 6 months before they actually even get to speak to a client or to work on an account.
And that is a really great point. We talk about delegation, and also delegation done correctly, because you don't want to just hire someone and say, here's your first client. And then based on that experience, the client leaves you, and then you think that person did bad and you fire them when maybe they didn't just get the proper training. And that's why it's really great you guys have those trainings in effect to make sure that the people who are responsible for different parts of the process are doing the work properly, are doing the proper relationship building, so clients stick around, even though it's not necessarily you doing all the work that they pay for.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
So it's interesting how, a company grows and you're doing things to achieve that growth. And then when you hit new levels, you naturally have to do different things to achieve further growth. So for instance, like delegation, that's not something people are thinking about right away, but Andrew and Mez were able to do that because they're at that level now. So what are some of the things that, like, those new challenges and different ways that you're growing at this stage?
Cool. You want me to answer that, Miz?
Yeah, mate. I'll let you.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, look, probably about 18 or 24 months ago, we decided we were going to sort of grow as quickly as possible and sort of build our brand as quickly as possible. At the time, I think we had basically 1 or 2 salespeople. We had 1 marketing person, and the business wasn't growing as fast or as good as we wanted to. So we realized we really need to focus more on the sales and marketing front. So we spent a lot of money on branding, on PR, on events, on Facebook advertising, on our own SEO, on our own SEM, and just spent a lot more money on people as well. It was really doubling down on making sure that we're investing every single dollar that we're making back into the business. Now, it's something that I shot a video on yesterday, is that a lot of small businesses really get a lot of money back into the business because they're not making as much money as they used to. So something that I've always prided myself on is, if I've needed to, I need to invest my my hard-earned money back into the business in advance to making sure I get the outcome in the long term. So that's what I'm doing that right now. Like, a marketing budget's going up an extra $100,000 a month. We've got another $120,000 a month worth of staff, and obviously we're going to bring our profit margin, down quite considerably before I see that growth. So, most of the time I just bite my tongue. I reinvest back in the business as much as I can, and I look for that next stage of growth. Along with that, we're looking at acquiring other supplementary businesses that are similar in our space in the digital world, to help cross-sell and upsell and make those clients that we're currently working with a lot stickier than what they would be if they just came to online marketing gurus. So we're looking for a plethora of different services that we can offer our clients to make them happier, make them stickier, and to getting a better service overall. And that's been very important. So we're sort of going through that whole stage at the moment.
Yeah, I guess just to add to that as well, I mean, one of the primary focuses and points of difference we have is our focus on research. So building our own tools, doing our own process engineering, and we've literally spent millions on that to differentiate ourselves and differentiate our service. Because as you know, the digital sort of agency landscape is very, very cluttered and splintered with a lot of different companies with virtually no point of difference. And for us, we really wanted to make sure that the product was our main point of difference. That's helped, and that's now helped drive our growth because people recognize that we have a unique service.
We have more great content coming up in this episode, but first we have a message from today's sponsor, Jobber. Jobber's award-winning software helps small home service businesses organize their entire operations, from scheduling jobs and managing their crews to invoicing customers and collecting payments. That way, you can spend more time on the services you're already great at. Job by job, business by business, Jobber is transforming the ways their customers deliver service. Start your free trial over at getjobber.com/breakthrough. All right, let's get right back into the episode. And it's interesting how you mentioned, you put more money back into your business. Like reinvesting in yourself is so powerful because it gives you that ability to grow. It gives you more control. Like I'm a dividend investor and I believe in that approach. But when you do reinvest in your own business, you have more control. You can look at your data. You can make more of the decisions. So I'm wondering, how do you decide how much to reinvest? Because there is this mix between reinvesting for growth and then sometimes the investments don't pay off. So it's that mix of being able to keep growing but not grow in an unsustainable manner.
Yeah, look, I think you're always going to burn money. I think that's just the way it is. Like you're never going to be absolutely nail. Okay, I spent $1 and I made $4 back. You're going to have to test different things. You're going to have to, look at different marketing channels. You're going to have to spend $1,000 here and $1,000 there and $10,000 here, whatever that might be. And just make sure that you're tracking everything as vigorously as possible. Now, at the moment for us, we've got literally 4 people sitting in account, plus an external accountant, just looking at our numbers and making sure that when we are investing, we are getting the best return on investment. What business owners generally do is they tend to get mixed up in everything at once, and they go, okay, I'm going to just go $2,000 and I want to return $50,000. That's not how it works. You need to monitor every different marketing channel you're doing and make sure you're getting, the best return on investment as possible. Keeping in mind that you're, especially in digital marketing, or any marketing channel for that matter, it's going to be tough to go, okay, I made $10 exactly from this, because you can look at the gross profit, you look at the net profit, you can look at 1,000 different things. And it's always going to be a little bit convoluted. At the end of the day, if you're bringing on additional revenue, you can play with those numbers. If you don't have revenue, then you're gonna have some issues.
Yeah, I guess just to add to that as well, I mean, a really good friend of Andrew and I runs a very successful data science and CRO company. And, he told us that 75% of all CRO, so conversion rate optimization tests, actually fail. So if you're wanting to get an uplift in your conversion, you've got to see if you're doing 10 tests, 7 of them are going to fail before you necessarily get to the winning test. And I think that's, where in terms of investing money, if you are overly cautious or too cautious and you sort of, get analysis paralysis, you're never going to grow. So you need to invest the money, you need to test. And yeah, I mean, to Andrew's point, this is just where we see so many small businesses going wrong, is they come into these things and they want to over-engineer and focus too much on that protection of the cash, but it actually comes at the expense of their business longevity and growth.
And the market's changed. It's not how it used to be. You don't just go and do AdWords or SEO and you put in $1,000 and getting a return on investment. There's Facebook ads, there's Instagram ads, there's all these different ad groups that you need to explore and make sure that you spend a lot of money on branding before people actually trust you. There's not necessarily two touches before someone signs up with you. There might be 12 or 13 or 14. So you need to make sure you're spending your money initially to build a brand before a customer actually even trusts you.
And that is a good point, because some people, they just rush to the ads, or they rush to spend money on this promise that they will get more followers, they will get clients, customers, but you have to look at yourself also. You have to look at what your brand is and what kind of value you are offering. Is it going to be something that someone would want to do business with you, or is it something that people would shy away from? So I love that focus on the brand, and you guys have such a great brand. OMG Online Marketing Gurus, that is their brand. We will have that in the show notes. Do you guys have any other places you want us to go to keep following your work and journey?
Thank you.
Just if you go on our website, we have a lot of webinars, we have a lot of ebooks, we have a lot of white papers. You can register interest in those and just keep updated on our journey. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you both for coming on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure.
This episode of the Breakthrough Success Podcast was brought to you by Jobber. Jobber is your business's command center. The easy-to-use app powers your sales, operations, and customer service all in one place. Start a free trial or sign up today to receive 20% off your first 6 months. Find out more at getjobber.com/breakthrough.